Today on Gamers Couch,
Magic, the Gathering, Arena of the Planeswalkers. That's all. I thought there was something else written on here on this very long game title, but yes. No. No.
Welcome to Gamers Couch, folks. Happy Sunday. This is Daniel, my sweetest husband of them all.
Let me get into the picture.
You wanna cuddle or what?
Now I am. I am in the picture.
Too hard.
Chandra Nala. Hot fingers.
You know, when I did set up the game for us to record here, I did give you Chandra because of exactly that, and also another thing.
So you're trying to tell me you're now a goth and smell funny?
No, it's because of farting. Pretty much.
Accelerated decay and
I'm very good at that.
How to get
too much information.
Flee from the ground.
Yes. Welcome to Gamers Couch. My name is Sarah. I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten and owner of this channel, wife of Daniel, and board game nerd, just like he is. He's loving board games a lot. We play them a lot and we like to talk about them. And on this show here, every Sunday we share games from our collection. That we just recently bought or maybe got for a long time, and we share our thoughts and opinions with you and a few of the experiences and funny stories that we had while playing, in case we remember. And yes, sometimes I write them down just to make sure I remember. And we always start with, giving you an overview of the game. So rules and gameplays, that is his part to explain to you. And I'm just drinking iced water and try to look nice and not too sweaty. Here we go.
It's a kind of duel to the death. Kind of. So if you are familiar with the card game Magic the Gathering, this has very little to do with it. Well, it does have something to do with it. I mean, it's the same characters, it's the same monsters, and some of the abilities kind of resemble what they do in the card game. But this is a full-fledged board game with little minis that fight against each other. It's a kind of 1v1 game, although you could play it theoretically with more players. Well, not even theoretically, you can practically play that with more players, but it tends to either be team versus team then, or a free-fall, so there's that. So actually, that is similar to the card game, where you might play against one other person most of the time, but this also works for more than one, and it is as annoying if you get eliminated first, as in the card game. For the game itself, you have a landscape to fight in, and I'm purposefully using
German lesson of the day. Number one. It's too hard. Yeah. It's really hard.
I'm purposely saying landscape because as I understood, this game is kind of a re-theming or re-implementation of Heroescape, which is a game we never owned or played, but I am aware of it, and I'm aware of the fact that it's actually quite expensive to get. I don't really remember that ever was available around here. If it was, it totally flew by me when I was younger, so I don't know anything about Heroescape. But let's get started. So, in the base game, you have the choice between 5 different planeswalkers or factions corresponding to the 5 colors of magic. You have, for example, here Chandra, which is the red fire mage or planeswalker, or you have Vanessa?
No, Liliana.
Liliana Vess. I always forget her name. Goth Girl.
It's the magic of her fart. It makes you forget.
Who is black, no surprise, and has mastered necromancy and farts as far as it belongs to Sarah.
Hey.
What?
I'm not a planeswalker.
and now I need to check again, so I don't screw that up either. So here we have Nissa. Nissa is a great match if you love flowers and days in the open. Camping. She also prefers trees over people.
And likes to kill you with lilies?
No. We have Gideon with his Towel of Magic. So I'm sorry. Nissa is green magic, so everything plant related or making things actually bigger, more beastie. Then we have Gideon with his frisbee and his towel. And frisbee Gideon is really good with knights. He's a white mage. And obviously he's kind of the master proper. How is it? Is it Mr. Proper?
The what?
The Meister Proper cleaning stuff.
Oh yeah, that's. I think it's Meister.
I don't. There's
an English name for it.
Yeah, and it's different than the detergent guy with the bald head.
Funny.
Maybe that's him with the wig.
I was giggling so hard because every time you said Gideon, I had Agent Gideon from back in the day, first season of Criminal Minds in my head, and having him being the Planeswalker is kind of funny to me. Sorry for that thought. Oops.
And here we have Buttface. Buttface is a very popular character in the Magic franchise, famous for his counter spells that if you play a blue deck, you will be a great friend of mine and everybody else who's playing Magic. Because blue as a color in Magic needs to be banned. It's terrible. Nobody likes you if you're playing blue. Blue counter decks are the most annoying thing in the world. And if you choose Jace here, I don't even know how he got to be on the front of the box. Maybe because they burned his hands for that.
Yeah, or wanting to decrease sales. I don't know.
I don't know either. So, once you figured out which magician suits you best or which planeswalker suits you best, magician kind of has the connotation of Chandra kind of dragging a burnt chicken or a rabbit out of her... No?
Or a rabbit stew, or like one of these roasted chickens with... I guess I'm hungry.
I summon chicken wings.
Yeah.
So,
with mashed potatoes.
Let's get on with this. So, you choose your planeswalker. You will receive cards. Surprise! It's a card game after all, not quite. So you receive army cards. Let me hold it into this camera where you can actually see this a little bit better. So you have, for example, Chandra, who is a pyromancer. She likes to burn stuff, which has a rough picture of her mini on here. It gives you some base information like how many life points does she have, how far can she move, how far is her attack radius, and obviously this is a German card, so just trust me when I say this is the attack radius. How many dice does she roll for attacking, how many dice does she roll for defending, and some special abilities. In this case, she has the ability to double strike, so she can attack twice in a turn. Or she was this ultra hot, so if you discard a red card, you can deal damage to a creature of your choosing within 6 fields range. Usually you have a little scenario set up, so the game comes with something like this, where it says, here's how you build your scenario. In this case, we have the duel, which is for 2 players, but there's some more for 2 players or 4 players or 3, 4, or even 5 players. We don't need the full setup, but trust me, it's more of these tiles here that you just arrange together and put on some decorative barriers, obstacles.
Yeah. Decorational obstacles.
Yeah. So, you decide on which side to start. So, for this purpose of showing you, let's say red starts on this side, black starts on that side. So, you place your planeswalker there, and that's it for the beginning, usually. On your turn, first you have to choose which unit to activate. Since I only have a Planeswalker, I choose you, Chandra, and then throw her in a ball towards the enemy. So
It's a fireball.
Fair point.
I know.
So if you activate your Planeswalker before doing anything else, you may bring your other units to the field. You can summon up to 2 heroes or troops. And in this case, we have the Flamewing Phoenix and, some kittens. Burning kittens. And if you choose to deploy them...
Searing fire cats.
You get to deploy them close to your Planeswalker, and you may put them whatever. Let me put them here. Afterwards, it is your turn, you can move and attack with your chosen figure. In this case, it's still Chandra. So she gets to move up to 6. So I could move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 close to the little spa there. And after you have moved one or more figures, so if I would have activated this troop, or if I do that in the next turn, I may choose to just move one of them or move all of them. Once the movement is done, you get to attack. In this case, I see that Chandra has a radius of 5. Let me do a quick fact check. 1, 2, 3. I'm close enough. I'm also supposed to use her little image here to see if she can actually hit Liliana. So you will try to get close to your mini, and then try to see from the green point here if you are able to target anything of this gray area or dark gray area that is on here to confirm that there is line of sight. If you're familiar with like war game tabletops,
or Imperial Assault, or Descent, they all work with line of sight.
Yeah, but they work with line of sight based on the board. This is actually...
you mean like...
Because you have...
Okay, got it.
Also have height differences.
Yeah. Okay,
so, clearly, if I would have stopped here, I could not actually see her because I'm standing face to a wall.
But honey, you are the red character. Don't you have infrared vision?
That doesn't let you allow... You cannot see through walls with infrared vision necessarily.
What is it? X-ray? No, that's
X-ray.
not wall.
X-ray lets you look through walls unless they're walls from... No, not metal. That specific... Was it lead?
Lead.
A lead metal. Yeah.
And that was your second German lesson of the day.
So, if I now choose to attack Liliana with Chandra, I take a look at how many dice may I roll, and she attacks with 3 dice.
I defend with 3.
I roll. And it's a kind of magic. I always roll pretty terrible when I attack in this game. So in this case, I rolled 2 magnificent shields that do nothing. Nothing at all. Not even a wet fart going towards her. What I should have rolled would have been these swords, which inflict damage. And let's pretend that I had rolled 3 swords and Sarah rolled 2 shields, which means she gets a net damage. So one of these...
Why can I not pretend that I have shields?
That's not how it works.
Just you pretend, okay.
I get to, warning, this is not strawberry candy or anything like that. These are just plastic cubes used to indicate wounds. So now I can either place it next to her mini, or in this case, since she only has 1 mini, we tend to place it just on the card to indicate that she is wounded. Now, 6 more of that, and I had good chances at winning the game.
Ow.
Now, with my special ability, I get to attack another time. So let's try this again. Yay!
Oh,
yay!
See?
2 more damage.
That is my role. So weakness disease does not only run strong with him, but with me as well. So I think somehow, on a dice rolling level, we are definitely related to Mr. Whedon. No? No.
Well, maybe I kind of grew up with him being in the TV.
Yeah, me too.
And just to clarify, this is a special ability that Chandra has, attacking twice. Usually you would just attack once and then you're done. Now, a thing I haven't told you yet is at the beginning of my turn, I draw one of these cool cards. And actually I start the game out with one of these with one of these cards, which are my spells. And it's a card game after all. I told you can't really escape the cards in this one. So at the beginning of your turn, you draw a card even before you select the army that you want to move. And they're basically just, broadly speaking, two types of spells that you can do. One is it's called Hexerei, which is
sorcery?
The instant. It might be. Usually, these cards refer or have more instant-like effects. Although I have to say, sorcery is actually closer because you can only play any card either before you activate your little army guys or after you have activated them. So you have to play this card either before you move or after you have attacked.
Yeah, and also on your turn, if I remember correctly, instance with a card game, you could also play when you are attacked in like the other person's turn, right? Do I remember?
No, you cannot play these in the other player's turn.
As a response to something?
No. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen a card there, and it says that. I'm pretty sure that the manual says you only may play these cards during your turn.
No, I mean like in the card game that.
Oh yeah.
That was what I thought.
Yeah,
why instants are different from
correct.
sorcery.
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
so,
got it.
So
Still learning with this game.
So with Hexerei, which actually does mean sorcery, this might probably be the better one. Although most of these cards are more cards that do like here's some instant thing that happens like damage or stuff. The other type of card are the enchantments, and those are mostly aura cards. Similar to the card game, in fact, you attach these to a certain type of unit. In this case, this fiery aura is an enchantment that I can attach to my Planeswalker. So I would play this card and just put it next to my Planeswalker card. And these trigger effects based on the conditions described here. And these actually may happen during an enemy's turn, saying something like, if you get attacked, maybe you negate the damage, or if someone tries to attack you, you roll one die more for defense, and stuff like that. There's also secret enchantments. So similar to traps that you put face down there and only reveal when the condition is met. So sometimes it's if a figure moves next to you and then boom, everything explodes. Great, happy fun for everyone. As I said, you start with 3 of those. You draw 1 at the beginning of every turn. If at any point at the end of the turn you have more than 7 cards on hand, you're playing the game wrong. Also, you have to discard cards so that you only have 7 cards on your hand. No, seriously, those things are really
Use
good.
them.
They give you the edge at certain points, and they actually, I would say, are the decisive factor, although you have some certain things that account for strategic value as well. For example, and let's jump back to that combat example.
Can I very quickly interrupt? And when you get to the point where you say you can, with the cards, how many you can play in a turn, can I show them? I have so great cards. I want to show them against Chandra, please. And now go on explaining.
Sure, So if Liliana, since she's she's very lonely, she hates other people, has very questionable social skills.
She likes
So
zombies.
instead of standing on the ground, she lives on her little mountain on top of there.
Okay.
Now, if your figure has height advantage, that means you get to roll 1 die more during attacks or defenses. The same would have happened if I, for some reason, would have stumbled into the water. Water is kind of the bane of your existence in this game, where you have to stop immediately once you land in water. Water fields are technically considered to be below the ground level, so you are at a disadvantage in water almost all the time, unless you attack or fight with someone also in the water, which is not great. Sprinkled across this map, you also find these magical runes with German words on them. Since German words empower you, so just write something German onto the street and stand on it, you will find out that it has a great effect. For this part here, let's say the strength +1 rune means as long as one of my units is standing on that rune, all of my units get +1 strength, meaning they roll 1 additional die during attacks. This movement +2 thing gives you +2 movement, and defense gives you more defense, and this
swirl.
It's revelation.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Are you sure? It's
knowledge.
Eureka, the German word. No. That lets you draw a card. And that is actually the only one that then gets burned. Or let me show you a magic trick. So if you use that rune, it disappears.
Flip.
Watch closely. 1, 2. It's gone.
Ah, it's on my foot. How did you do that?
Magic jazz hands.
Unbelievable. I'm diving. You.
I'll drink.
Can I show him? Can I show him what you can do in your turn? You don't.
Sure.
Did you? I don't remember.
I said you can play up to 3 cards.
Yeah. Did you say? Yeah, you said before, after movement or before combat, right? But you didn't say that
before movement or after combat.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have. You can do those actions. You don't have to do them. So you can skip the movement, go to combat right away. You don't have to move,
yes.
right? So
yeah, well,
I'm not sure if you said it.
You don't have to keep moving. This is not a car combat game where everything is in motion all the time. I mean, some of them look like cars, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what is also a very valid option of having your turn done, and I just drew the card, so I had to. Since Chandra already gave me 3 wounds, what I could do is just play a sorcery that says corruption. Give 1 creature in a range of 5 fields with direct line of sight of my black planeswalker 1 damage, and then I can remove 1 of my damages from my planeswalker. So this is kind of annoying. And why are you moving? Oh no. Where were you? You were here, right? Yeah. See, he does that all the time. And then if that is not enough, I could go on and have some spell.
It's disgust. Pretty much.
Yeah, it says disgust. So verachten is if you're
yeah of disgust.
If you don't like somebody else.
To disgust. I do disgust you.
It doesn't sound right.
And then you do damage.
Yeah.
Taking.
And I'm just gonna have some sorcery on your planeswalker, and that means he rolls 1 die less. It doesn't mean
Yes.
1 sword less, but 1 die less. So boo-ha!
Yes, you can play. You can play enchantment next to opposing troops or planeswalkers.
Yes.
I think there's actually you could technically also play good cards on them, but why would you? I mean, again,
because you want to get laid.
That is some.
Sorry.
That is something that you might do in the card game, like the real card, not the real, the classic
original.
Magic the Gathering card game, but again, also makes no sense. Maybe there will be something released that lets you leverage that by saying, if you do that, then you can do some other thing.
Yeah, you can bring back a creature or something that is...
Yeah.
But yeah, then I did roll my 4.
I need
And you
to-
can roll 2, right?
No,
Come on, do
no,
it.
3. I have 4 defense.
Yeah. Chandra's really good. Please go through.
1 damage. Yay! So,
Yeah.
some other little quirks. I already mentioned that there's height differences. So, actually, if Liliana wants to go up here, she has to spend 1 movement point per height difference. So, going over here would be 1 anyway, but this is a height difference of 2. So she goes 1, 2, 3. So that would be 3 moves over there. She could technically also go 1, 2, 3, 4, but that does not make any sense. You are limited to only climb as high as your mini is. So if you have something that is higher than your mini, you're out of luck. On the other hand, falling down from here is usually not a problem unless that is also higher than you are, and then you take fall damage. Other little things that you might come across if you kind of summon up Simon's Burning Cat. You immediately notice that this cat is a little bit
Bigger.
taller,
Longer.
Yes.
Extensive.
There's enough cat for 2 fields in here that occupy those. Now, if you move them, it's actually fairly easy. It doesn't matter in which area you look. All you do is kind of taking one of those 2, preferably the first one, and just move it as many fields as you want to move it in. The back piece just needs to go onto the same field that the front piece was. You can also climb with cats, where you only kind of spend the first for the movement points for the first step. The thing that you have to pay attention to is that you need to end your movement on the same height. These cats also don't care much for water fields unless she's full in the water. So, like a real cat, really does not like full water submersion thing. And obviously, you also cannot stop here, because the water field is technically not on the same height as the other ground field. These glyphs do not count for height differences, and I think
Did you talk about armies?
that's
You said it with your you
So
did,
if
you
you
did.
when I summoned those phoenixes or Simons, I would have brought up these army cards that also explain my minions. Obviously, these summons have way less life. You also get to see some little identification symbols that are on the lower corner here, which may be referenced or are usually referenced by your enchantment cards. So, for example, this one says enchant a troop with this icon, which you can find here, and then I can give this troop this card which says 1 more attack, and so on. Just from a quick strategy primer, you maybe not want to bring out your minions right away, because then they kind of still stand there, pretty much like those birds do when I summon them, while my Chandra, my Planeswalker, is well up front in all the danger zone.
Welcome to the danger zone.
With Iceman, with Liliana. So you probably want to bring them out later and do something cool with them, kind of saving on the movement points there. The kind of unfortunate thing is that this is pretty much what one faction has available. So you have your Planeswalker and then 2 armies that go with that Planeswalker. The game comes with, as I said, the 5 different Planeswalkers, and let me hold them into the... So you have these 3 here, and our 2 here. These are our 5 Planeswalkers, and I will hold up the minis while Sarah will probably tell you a thing or 2 about if she liked or disliked the game.
Can you
next
before say what age this is supposed to be for this game?
It's
12?
no, it's 10 and older.
Okay.
So it's
Because we know
officially this is for 2 to 5 players and for ages 10 and up. There is by now, I think, at least one expansion available. I think it's the Innistrad expansion, which we don't own, haven't played. So this is just kind of from our perspective of this. I've played a fair bit of Magic, the card game, and I do really like it. Although I'm not that big into building my deck. I'm more of I like to pick up those pre-made decks
or the commanders.
Yeah, the commander Highlander decks
cool.
and play with them. I like playing around and not so much the collecting all the cards and doing that stuff thing. And I think you were introduced to Magic through me, or did you play it beforehand?
No, I knew of it. I have looked through the cards and I knew what the game was about, but I never played it before I met you.
And I also want to point out, I actually did not get hooked on Magic when it came out back then, although I was certainly aware of it when it came out the first time. But I kind of found to it later through the Duels of the Planeswalkers PC games, simply because they didn't require you to get the cards. You could play them whenever you want, and
you could play solo against the computer.
But through that, I've also found to the card game. So I was interested looking at what this might bring, and if this might also be something that kind of might introduce someone to the Magic the Gathering card game, or if this is meaty enough to stand on its own. And I think that's a good segue
to likes and dislikes. Yes. So I got this for you. Either it was a birthday or an advent calendar, because again, we loved to play with the commander decks, and I thought, maybe, and we had seen some stuff on Essen that they would bring out or would work on. People would work on the Magic the Gathering board game, and so I thought, well, just give it a try, pick it up and see if it is something for our gaming group that we could play, because pretty much all of them like Magic. So also you can, or I can.
No, you just keep on. You keep on talking. I need to introduce.
It's really hard. Sorry,
these
folks.
core hookmasters to the people, as well as Frisbee Rhino.
So excuse me. Having played Marvel Dice Master before, having played the Planeswalker game, and having seen that there's dice in there as well, I thought, oh, well, maybe it's kind of like sitting in the middle of Magic and Marvel Dice Master, and it takes both of the things that I like most about those games. That's why I actually got that game for you.
Oh, even before you saw the see-through thing that showed the minis?
No, I didn't get it because of that. Well, on
on that
disclaimer,
online marketplace.
That's called Amazon. Yeah, I'm shopping online for games. And on the picture that they had there, it wasn't visible that it was a see-through thing. And if you would have been younger and I would have been your mom instead of your wife, I would have maybe been intrigued with the see-through. I'll get something cool with the minis looking for your kid.
You totally did the mom thing on this.
But not.
Young man, I want to buy this game for my young one, and
for my youngling.
I think he plays the one where you jump around and then headshot or something.
I was actually looking more for information of the game, like I do with any board games, instead of looking, oh, does this box look cool for a kid? You know, this is how we maybe shop a bit more for our niece and nephew, but I don't shop like that for you. Meow. Anyway, so I didn't have super high expectations for the game. I was just hoping that it would be a cool game to play, and I have to say, I'm okay with many things, and I'm disappointed with other things. I'm not angry about it, because this will sound so bad, but it's true. And again, we talk unfiltered on this show. The publisher is Hasbro, which is known for games like Monopoly or other toy-like games in Germany.
Is it Monopoly or was Monopoly?
Hasbro Mattel did publish Monopoly at one point.
I'm terrible with my knowledge of that, so
they're more into the board games that are kind of toy-ish.
I also tend to confuse Hasbro with MB and Schmidt-Spiele.
But they're not like Ravensburger or Hans im Glück that do really more the board game things here. Those games are more known for the toy factor. So I wasn't too surprised when I looked, for example, at the quality.
I don't know what you mean with the toy factor.
Exactly. I'm disappointed, yes, because there's potential. But I'm not overly disappointed because I kind of knew what I was getting into buying from that publisher because they're known for that. So I'm not really angry about using those minis that are just one color and they just say, well, it's the black dudes. But I don't know what the heck they thought for the Planeswalkers. If you have a clear mini, if you have it painted, well, do it right. Or do it at least to the point that it's not looking super ugly. Now I have to stand up and really get close in there. This is ugly.
She's the witch from the I'm melting.
This is I would have been fine to have the black figurine be like this and just have a clear base to indicate, hey, that's your Planeswalker. Would have been fine. But they're kind of ugly. It's like, what?
I think it's a nice idea to have colored Planeswalkers, but
then do it right.
I would go so far to say that the overall component quality of those minis, after seeing so many really, really good games with high quality minis, same goes for these board pieces.
Yeah, well, the black ones, they're not shitty, but they're not awesome either. However, I wouldn't mind just having those in a Hasbro or Mattel game.
So just to show you guys, actually I don't know which camera, but let's
take the upper one.
So the other journalist. So these are the other tiles, and as you can see, you just click them together. The backside just has some fluff on the characters for each one, which is nice. I don't mind. Although I actually might have preferred to have some different terrain on the backside, to have some more variety on there. Because these, as you can see, are actually already quite bland. So I might have liked if there's some other theme on the other side.
Some forest instead of... Yeah. But then again, it's Planeswalker, and this is a plane.
No, it's plain. It's not plain.
Yeah, Plain. It's that. It's tundra.
No, it's
Chandra in tundra.
No, but they are Planeswalker.
Yeah.
They are not Planeswalker.
Yeah, but it's a...
Go tap a mountain. Let me explain this, woman.
Tap a mountain.
So one thing that is not so great about these are actually the corners, because we found out that they stick together, but these tend to kind of rip apart. And
you know that from jigsaw puzzles back in the day.
You see that on these, and we are aggressive in certain points of life, but usually not when it regards to board games. So this was with minimal effort that we had this, and yes, these are nice. I guess they just kind of seem a little bit boring, which I'm
actually fine with these. I'm even kind of okay with just the uni-colored minis. I'm fine with the dice, they're good, nice size, but the rest is either not to my liking or just, whatever.
I also like the these
but that reminds me so much of the like the children's toy games.
But I'm fine with it. Yeah. Actually, these look or don't look too bad. The thing is, those 4 pieces are everything you'll get in the box.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that seems...
A little, knowing it's a base game and you can have expansions, okay, but still, it's not enough to even get me to want to look at an expansion. Not yet.
I mean, after the first 1-2 games, I got the feeling that this is similar to just picking up a starter set of maybe even Magic or Dice Masters, where you'd say, this is kind of the basis to get you started, but you certainly need more things to make this interesting. Unfortunately, this is a full price board game, which, I mean, yes, it's being fair. This is like 5 starter packs with a map thing going with it. But the combination of not so great quality and the amount of content or the type of content that's in here, I'm not super happy with it. I almost would have preferred, if I had to choose between getting this for the same money or just getting some of the regular Planeswalker starter packs, I might have gone with the starter packs.
Exactly, because the one cool thing about this game, when it comes to the components and art and anything, is exactly the cards, and they have Wizards of the Coast artwork on there. So these were done by the same artists that do the Magic the Gathering card games.
It is essentially the Magic cards.
Yes, also here. So these are nice quality, yes. Print is done well, but the intriguing thing here is the artwork that you know from the card games. And with that artwork here on the cards and then looking at the board, the discrepancy is even more obvious, and then to the point that it's annoying or very, very disappointing then.
I think
it's just, not well done there, folks.
If I had to attribute this to something, I can only imagine, and again, not being familiar with HeroScape, I would assume that they just reused parts of HeroScape and
plastered Magic on,
trying to altering that to fit Magic didn't work out in the end, or didn't grow as they might have wanted to. If someone would have told me, hey, this is a little cool expansion for HeroScape that lets you play with Magic heroes in HeroScape, I would have said this is fine for that. It's because it picks up a little bit on the theme and mechanics from the card game. It's like a callback to that. And if you would play this and you would be familiar with the card game, this is a little bit like how they play and how the colors play and how that feels like doing them. But in this other game, that's a cool little extra thing. But I think it's
not enough to be a standalone game, right?
It's too light for my taste. And as I said initially with the card game, I actually do like these pre-made decks more. But I'd like to make a point of making a difference there.
Sorry.
You just can sneeze out a deck like no. So so what I like about the pre-made decks is because they're usually balanced around a specific strategy or point, and if it's a really good one, it has more than one, with things that support each other. This here does not feel like a pre-made group with well-supporting abilities.
No.
It feels like a starter pack.
Yes, exactly.
Which is like, here's a little taste of what could be possible. And
one thing they really screwed up is actually parts of the manual. Can I please have it?
Well, it's not screwed up, but it's a decision. My hand goes to my head and hair and says, "Why are you so sweaty?" No, it's actually saying,
why are you, excuse my French, so stupid?
No, it's
stupid. It is.
I'm pretty sure.
Who thought of that?
I'm pretty sure it's a decision that is related to cost after all, and maybe that's where the point comes in that this
is it? I would understand. So here's the thing. In the back you have different kinds of setups, like Daniel already showed you, but the counter for the rounds is there as well.
And some extra rules.
And
how to win this.
Then you have to probably, because we always did, have to look back at one specific thing to play it right. Oh, hold on, where's my counter?
Yeah, it happens to be that someone might look at the manual during playing the game, and
there's a very easy and very cost-effective way around it. You print the manual as it is, but you do not bind these pages, but have the end page here, and just have these loose back and forth printed in the box. That would have been so good.
In fact, having a second like a small scenario book in there
would have been fine.
Would also support my thing saying it might have been cool to have different backgrounds here, which kind of might have introduced a different scenario.
It just feels like somebody had the idea to revive an old game mechanic and gameplay and plaster something on it and not do it right. And again, I'm not even angry because with this publisher, I'm aware of games that are, not great at all. But it's just so disappointing because, again, this is a full-priced board game. And it feels sometimes kind of like a rip-off, which is not a good thing. However, we can always just pick up the awesomest of awesome games. We sometimes have screw-ups as well, and they're gonna stay in our collection until the point that we maybe sell them or donate them or whatever, do artwork with them, rip them apart, whatever we decide to do with the games that we definitely didn't play in 10 years, not because we don't have time, but because we don't like to play them.
I would say I'm not as harsh as you.
I'm very black and white anyways, so there's very little gray with me.
Just because I see what publisher this game is from, and I'm pretty sure there's some games in the Hasbro lineup that aren't terrible per se.
No, but in comparison with very many other publishers, I have all the good kids' memories from games that are published by Ravensburger and by Hans im Glück, and none of them being published by Hasbro or Schmidt-Friede. So.
As I said, I understand it, although I wouldn't be as hard and kind of damn the entire thing just based on...
No, it's just like, I'm not even angry, I'm just disappointed. Usually I'm angry.
I see that, or the thing that becomes apparent is that where this is lacking seem to be very close to decisions where you would say, this looks like they wanted to shave off and save a bit of money where possible. And I'm fairly certain that the franchise of Magic the Gathering has enough potential to make a lot of really awesome games out of that. Whether they being competitive things like that. To be honest, I find the, let's say, Imperial Assault skirmish mode more compelling than what's in here. That being said, now if I try to send my mind back in time and thinking of being a 10-year-old...
Oh, I would have loved to have met you then.
I think I could have liked this more than I would do now, because maybe then I wouldn't care so much about the strategic parts or the options, making interesting choices. I probably would have been fine with the minis then and the quality of them, but only if I hadn't known anything else.
Exactly. They look very 80s, early 90s to me.
And obviously these are like this soft plastic that can take a little bit of a beating. So they are kid-friendly, so to speak. And maybe that is one of the better points. All in all, and this kind of predates the final rating, it's not that I dislike this, it's just...
meh.
Yeah, it's incredibly feeling mediocre to
and that is, to me personally, being such a black and white person with pretty much anything
Magic
in the world.
has 5 colors.
The worst thing is, the worst feeling to have is not even being super disliking about something, because then at least you have a strong feeling, a strong opinion. You have to love something to hate something. But if it's just meh, that is the worst kind of rating or worst feeling I can actually have about something. If I'm not even interested, if it even doesn't bug me, that's it feels so sad that it's at that level that we have to say it's meh.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is not entirely beyond hope, especially if there's expansions now coming out. Although my understanding is that it took quite some time for the expansion to come out, so I would have to wonder if either WotC or the market has made a clear opinion on where this is going to. In regards to the quality. So it might be interesting checking in with the expansion to see if that improves things. I mean, it certainly would add more variety and choice, but from what this kind of left me with, I'm not really considering picking up that. And
no, it would be maybe if we see it somewhere and play it.
Yeah,
and see how it plays with the expansion, then maybe give it a second thought.
Or have one of our friends say, yeah, with the expansion, this is kind of really improving the game, and now things...
Yeah, because, I mean, with the base game, you only play one color, but with Magic, you very often have a duo-colored deck, so you play white and red, maybe, or black and green, and
blue and blue, where you just sit in the corner and watch other people playing because nobody wants to play with you.
Yeah, I would like to play black and blue, because then I would be a cop. No.
Actually, black and blue is close to what I like to play, but
I like. If it comes to just one color, black is my favorite color to play.
But that's because I. So let me clarify this further, because otherwise internet rage will hit me through the YouTubes. I very much dislike blue, but the thing that I dislike about blue is the entire counter thing, because that similar to the healing mechanic, if that tends to prolong games unnecessarily, that is kind of annoying. I do like blue decks if there's something like library card milling decks, which and only if they also act kind of quickly, or are so disruptive that they mess up
everything. Then it's fine. But it's pretty much what I dislike about miniature games, or a lot of war miniature games. You have to move each of your 100 figurines by half an inch now. I come back 2 hours later, then you're maybe done. It's the same.
At least if you're playing the big ones, the skirmish ones, like
so I like
ball or so.
Exactly, and I'm not very fond of that, and that is the same thing you have with the blue decks in Magic.
One other thing I wanna throw in, and I'm actually not holding this against this game, because that is something I also get annoyed with the card game. But when you're playing this with more than two,
early elimination,
and someone gets thrown out of the game, they get to watch you and wait, which is usually not fun.
Nope.
And there's similar to the card game. There's nothing much that you can do unless you're kind of agreeing on some other house ruling with that, which can be frustrating.
Something like if you're 3 rounds every 3 rounds that you are eliminated, you can bring back one creature, or you can draw 2 cards and then kind of restart the game for you. You will be way weaker, but at least you will be having a chance to go through the rest of your deck and then come back with something. That might be a nice house ruling thing that I would also recommend with this game. And sometimes even with a card game.
I think I actually missed telling you how you win this game. So you either win by eradicating all the other fools at the table, which is, I think, the most common thing. Those little counters we showed you in the manual are actually just there as a timer, so that it does not take forever, because unlike with the card game, the game does not end when your library runs out of cards. You just don't draw cards anymore, so that timer is removed. So they have to have something in there. So unless you just run around in circles and nobody ever ends the game.
Yeah.
That's it, I think.
Let's rate and then hop into the funny stories, experiences, and a teaser. 1, 2, 3. You're one after medium, one down?
I'm
but not all the way down. Okay, we have the same rating, and I think we talked long about why that is.
As I said, as it is now, if you have a kid that might be into that, this could be something. Otherwise, it's really difficult for me to recommend. Or if you
have a time machine and you can go back to the early 90s and bring this game with you, you would be in the right setting. I remember so many games from early 90s.
In fact,
it reminds me so much of your Ghostbusters game.
Yeah, in fact, I think
had for the kids.
I think this is just a little bit out of time, or maybe needs some more work to make it work.
It needs
today.
Some refreshing, some work, and
this game needs more trading in the Mediterranean and worker placement.
No. So, funny stories, experiences. So we played it 3 times. I always played black. In the 2-player games, Daniel played red.
And you also played black in the card game.
Yeah. Like I said, I like black most. And if somebody else is not taking black, I'm definitely gonna take black. I'm the zombie lady.
Which looks like this. What do you want to play? I play black. Now you choose.
If it's 2 players, if it's 4, I did choose black very late.
Even if it's 5 players, it doesn't matter because you would go always. I choose black, and now you choose.
No, I left the choice to
one other
Christian
person
and to Tina to play black. And when they said, when Christian said, "No, I want to play white," and Tina said, "Oh, red," I said black before he could take it. Anyway, one thing that I found very interesting and kind of surprising was I remember from the card games that flying creatures were very strong. So with you playing Chandra in the first game and having these phoenixes, which are definitely flying creatures, I thought, oh gosh, I'm gonna die very early on, because again, from the card game I just remembered they were very strong, but I felt that in the board game they were way weaker. They felt way weaker. They didn't have this overpowering, bam, I'm gonna fly over you, and like a good pigeon in the streets shit on your face.
And I'm sorry, but I just now, while looking at the description, I remember that I actually missed to explain something that is kind of important. It's not super crucial to understand the game, but there's something where if you move next to an opposing figure, you are now in CQC, close quarters combat. It's the German, it's Gefechtsstellung. I don't know what's the term for in the English version, but
you're engaged in combat.
Yeah, if you're moving next to an opponent mini, you're engaged in combat. If you move away from that mini to a space that is not adjacent to that mini anymore, they get to roll a die and inflict 3 damage if they're lucky. You can move around that mini without problems, so that's a thing.
Yeah.
When you said flying, these guys, if they're flying, they can just fly over other minis without engaging in combat necessarily.
But it felt kind of weak with this game, and so I didn't expect to win in the first game, but I did, and that is not entirely because of the dice, but very, very many percentages.
Mostly entirely.
Yeah. No, I did. You didn't roll shitty like all the time, but when you rolled really well, your phoenixes didn't do enough to. Well, have also, and I actually thought they would, but
and these guys are just glorified plink cannons because they only have 2 hit.
Those tiny kittens here, they're way stronger, and you only use them in the second half of the game. And they don't look strong on paper, but when you actually play them, they would you have started playing those instead of the phoenixes? I think the game would have been very different.
Yeah, I have to say,
because they are the way stronger creature.
From the other game playing Nissa, I very much prefer.
I'm gonna talk about that game.
But that's also because I had really, really luck drawing the cards.
Yes.
Turns out this game is very similar in that regard to the card game. If you draw good cards,
you're really strong.
Chances are that you're doing some really good...
Yeah, but the green one that you played in the 4-player game, there's another thing that monsters can do also in the card game that is very strong, that is Trample. And I felt that Trample was kind of that strong, or way stronger in the board game than Flying was in comparison to the card game. And I was really surprised. It wasn't to the point that you didn't have any chance, but you were annoying in that game. I didn't like your faction. I liked Stocky's faction, the white ones, a bit more, because, well, I could hunt those rhinos down. So Tina and we played a team, black-red against white-green. And there was this game, she got eliminated super early with her Planeswalker, having the Phoenixes out, but not even having been able to...
she made the mistake of going getting close to us, and... And that is one thing, but I know why she did, and that is very confusing with playing Chandra. Yes, she is a ranged character, so she can fight from the other side of the board, but many of her cards say if you are one space away or adjacent or within 2 spaces off, and they're really strong cards, so you kind of are tempted to go close with Chandra to other characters, but then you're pretty much lost. In case you're wondering, that card that Sarah was talking about, you may recognize this card art. And yes, this does Trample, and Trample in this one is kind of similar, where since you don't have player health as in the card game, here if you perform Trample damage, you just attack the figure that's adjacent to the one you just killed.
And you cannot you cannot roll a defense die against that.
That might be. I did not ever look that up. That's also not described in the manual. So
you played it close to the card game. You cannot take or you cannot defend the damage against players. You cannot defend that.
Yeah.
With a trample. So we played it in the same fashion.
But if you would defend with multiple creatures, you would.
That is true.
That. But in this case, actually, the card says that if you assign damage to a figure that is enough to destroy that figure, you can assign remaining damage to another figure. And the way it's worded here, it sounds like this happens after the defense roll happened. So that the second creature technically wouldn't get to defend. I would see that maybe there's a clarification saying, hey, this is not right. Both figures get to roll defense. But in this case, I had this one. This also gives +2 damage, and I had attacked her Chandra with 3 of these green archers, and they were really dishing out damage enough. She was just. And
you were lucky rolling dice.
That was actually the one roll that was really super
good.
Lucky.
Yeah. So that was just a very unlucky combination of things that happened. But then she had one Phoenix and just draw a card, move the Phoenix.
And if you're
that's your turn.
If your Planeswalker's gone, you don't get to, you cannot summon more minis.
Yeah, so
Simon did not enter the field because...
Yeah, and once the last Phoenix was down, she couldn't revive those Phoenixes and nothing. That's just so unfortunate, and that is very, very frustrating. I totally get that. It's pretty much her experience is the mirror to the one that I had with Blood Rage. Yeah. The other, I don't have any significant stories or memories of our second 2-player game that we played.
Me neither, which is also not a good thing.
Must have been.
If it's that forgettable.
Yeah, but let's just wrap it up and tease the new Draw for Initiative thing. So every Wednesday, Tina and I, we do publish a video on my channel.
You do
where
you kind of record magical jazz hands with pens.
I wonder if there's ever gonna be a week where I can say the introduction for Draw for Initiative teaser without you interrupting me with something super hilarious. 1 week, folks, 1 week. I'm gonna have duct tape with little Santas as a special
I'm going to drink something. Please explain to them the Draw for Initiative.
Time. Yeah, so every Wednesday, Tina and I, we publish a video on my channel where we paint experiences that we had with board games. So every week we have another board game, and every Sunday before that certain Wednesday, we are going to tease here what game's gonna come up. And you can guess with us, and you can leave, or guess with him. I know he has to guess. You can leave in the comment section below if you have an idea of what game it's gonna be, and just, well, shout it out, and I might say, yeah, maybe, no, whatever, something. And the game this week is about...
Don't say it. My mind
I didn't
reading,
know that he's Spock.
My mind reading powers, magical things say Pachisi.
What is that?
Okay, give me the old-fashioned hint.
We don't own a game called Pachisi. Pachisi
We do.
thing. What?
It's a majority.
Oh, no, that's Don't Worry.
No, that's...
Good marriage talk.
Chill
right?
Dude was the other one. And so, where's my hint?
Yeah, I was saying the game is about transition. It's an ancient game. And you have to make the journey of transitioning the best. And, well, the gods' favor might be with you sometimes. This is so not, oh gosh.
Is it a game with cards?
It has cards in it, yes.
Is it a game that primarily revolves around the cards?
Yes.
Is it a game where you draft cards?
Kinda, yes.
Kinda, or do you draft cards? I mean, you said gods. I'm immediately thinking about two games. Okay, so let me clarify. Does it have minis?
No.
Does it have pillars?
Yes.
Is it in the mythological environment?
Like the ancient old, yes.
The real ancient old with the real harpies and the stuff. Stuff. Is it one of the game that is great because it has different artists who did the artwork for all the different factions?
I don't remember, but I want to say yes.
It is.
Okay.
I read it from your mind.
Okay. Can you read from my mind to take down the trash tonight?
You're
think,
talking to the
folks?
people outside? Please don't. I prefer you not knowing where we live.
No, I said
Or entering our
I'm
house.
asking them if they think that you can read my mind in regards to please take down the trash tonight, honey. Can you do that as well? Or can you just read if I have artists on my mind?
No.
So, game.
So it's
What's your guess?
Pillars of the Earth, which is a great game about medieval.
I didn't...
We don't even own that game. So
No, but the book. That, like the audio book. We own that. And I was actually looking at that game. If
wrong
we wanna have
mythology. That's I'm told it's great. And
yeah, but it's
who
kind of like the
never read the book.
Machiavellian scare is going on.
No.
No,
it's-
like with me, I thought about buying that for you for either it was your birthday or wedding anniversary.
We
or
have
something.
friends who play this and really like this.
Yeah,
So.
but to me, just looking at it, it's kind of like the scare that I have to ask you to ever in our life play Machiavelli.
No, not really.
So I'm maybe it's in the advent calendar. I don't know.
I don't know either.
No, because you don't know
But
what's gonna be in the advent
do
calendar
you know-
this year.
Do you know a game about mythological stuff
transitions.
And cards.
And pillars.
Draft beer, because it's about drafting, as Sarah said.
Mm-hmm. And the pillars.
And pillars.
And money. And owls.
And the dead. And the afterlife.
And thunder. And lightning. And afterlife, yeah. All those things,
and,
folks.
And
such a busy game.
Hot tip, although he's not in the game, but Kratos would actually fit into the game. But then he would murder everybody you're trying to play with, which probably not worth the introduction.
See?
So yeah, don't invite Kratos to that game night.
Don't.
Anyway.
We're gonna go now. We hope you have a great weekend. Leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. You can do different things to and with this video. You can give it a thumbs up if you liked it. You can share it with anybody you think should see it. Or you could subscribe to the channel in case you're new, because there's lots of board game videos and art videos and stuff on this channel pretty much every day of the week. And if you are maybe not on the YouTubes directly, but come to us via the Board Game Geek list, well, there's a playlist for the Gamers Couch and also the teased Draw for Initiative, so subscribe to those if you like. It was my best Arnie accent.
We're both not Austrian, so we can never go full Arnie for you.
No. I cannot in two ways. I never can have my voice that deep, and I cannot do the accent. Nah. Whatever. Have fun, folks. See you very soon, and have a lovely Sunday. Go play a board game.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Let's get to that chopper.
No, that is not how you say it.
I'm sorry.